This is the electromagnetic spectrum. The visible range can be divided into infrared, visible light, and ultraviolet light. Light is classified by its wavelength. The wavelength is a measure of a wave from crest to crest in nanometers. The electromagnetic spectrum ranges from radio waves all the way to gamma rays. In the eyes, there are photoreceptors called cones which interpret the color of the light being absorbed. The photoreceptors responsible for low light vision are called rods, which are more sensitive to light than cones. Transretinal makes repeated contacts with transducin molecules. Transducin has its alpha subunit activated by the release of bound GDP in exchange for cytoplasmic DTP. The transducin subunit binds to the gamma subunits of the phosphodiesterase, hitting its alpha and beta subunits. Activated phosphodiesterase hydrolyzes cyclic DMP. Guanylyl cyclase synthesizes cyclic DMP, second messenger in the phototransduction cascade. Reduced levels of cyclic DMP causes cyclic nucleotide-gated channels to close, adding further influx of sodium and calcium, which leads to hyperpolarization in the neuron.
Snakes generally have poor eyesight, which is possibly due to the evolution from burrowing lizards. The eyes had to be reinvented when they resurfaced. The rods and cones are not very well organized in snakes compared to other vertebrates. Some simply do not have one or the other at all. However, we will be focusing on snake heat-sensing pit organs. Not all species have these organs. In some pythons and boas, they have labial pits that line the upper and lower lip. These are shallower than L'Oreal pits found in pit vipers. Pit vipers have more advanced pits than pythons and boas, which are basically one large pit organ on both sides of the head below the eyes. This narrow pore-like channel opens to the inside compartment where there is an inner and outer chamber. These chambers are divided by a membrane made of epithelial cells with thermoreceptors. From these receptors, nerves link the pits with the brain. The inner chamber helps to equalize the air pressure on both sides of the membrane and also notes the ambient air temperature. Only the outside membrane detects heat radiating from a warm-blooded animal. Boa and python pits also have a layer of thermoreceptive epithelial cells connected to the nerves. However, they do not have the double chambers like pit vipers. This is similar to how vision in infrared would look like for a snake.
Zalavis californius is more commonly known as the California sea lion and is a member of the order Carnivora and the suborder Pinnipedia. It is widely thought that most sea mammals, including pinnipeds and cetaceans, are completely colorblind. What is so fascinating about the California sea lion is that there is new research on this species suggesting they are in fact not colorblind. The retina of these sea lions possesses densely packed rods and only one type of sparsely dispersed cones, the L cone, which are long wavelength sensitive. The L cones of a pinniped have a max absorption peak around 550 to 560 nanometers. The L cones of pinnipeds are unique because their maximum absorption is slightly lower than that of other terrestrial mammals, placing it closer into the blue-green spectrum, but it is much higher than the L cone adjustment porpoises experience, with their maximum L cone absorption peak around 524 nanometers. Animals like porpoises whose L cones have blue adapted by having a lower L cone absorption peak make a great deal of sense since they spend all of their lives underwater. Thus, it makes sense that sea lions would possess an L cone max absorption between terrestrial mammals and aquatic mammals since they spend a great deal of time in both environments. A true monochromatic mammal, which is any mammal possessing only one type of retinal cone, would not be able to distinguish between any colors and would have decreased vision and low illumination. Sea lions have been found to behave as dichromats, which is currently hypothesized to be due to their rod-cone interactions. Recent studies involving the California sea lion suggest that they can discriminate colors in the blue-green spectrum. In a particular study involving 3 of these sea lions, the colors red, blue, and green were tested against grays, all of varying light intensity. Each of these sea lions were able to differentiate the blue and green colors, but not the red. The results of this study indicated that sea lions do in fact have dichromatic color vision, which is most likely an adaptation for their aquatic environment. These exciting new findings have recently sparked more interest in studying pinniped vision.
Birds have an awe-inspiring ability, and it's not in reference to their ability of being able to soar through the beautiful skies of the world, but rather in the way they see the world. Diurnal birds have a more highly sophisticated perception of color than we humans do. This is due to the fact that birds, such as the European starling, are tetrachromats. This means they possess photosensitive pigments within their cone cells which contain maximum absorbances at 4 different wavelengths of the electromagnetic spectrum. Other species of birds, for example pigeons, contain photopigments sensitive to 5 peak wavelengths. They are pentachromats. For comparison, normal humans are considered trichromatic. In addition, many birds can also make use of a broader portion of the electromagnetic spectrum, from about 320 nanometers to 700 nanometers, than humans, whose visible spectrum runs from about 400 nanometers to 700 nanometers. Essentially, since some birds have the ability of seeing well into the UVA spectra as well as being tetra, or even pentachromats, they are capable of seeing colors completely unknown to humans. In an effort to put this into perspective, trying to understand what hues a bird can see is similar to the dilemma a red-green colorblind human faces when attempting to understand the way a normal human perceives the colorful world around them.
There's a reason why bees can see you while you're still searching for the source of that buzzing noise. Their color vision is 5 times faster than human vision and among the fastest color vision yet clocked in the animal world. The lightning-fast color vision enables bees to fly through the trees and bushes, escape predators, spot each other and otherwise deal with their world in fast forward. The trick to their fast vision is how many snapshots per second the color detecting cells in bumblebees' eyes take and send to their brains. Just like most insects, the bumblebee compound eye is formed of a large number of individual hexagonal units called ommatidia. The lens lies over the crystalline cone and beneath the lens are the visual cells leading to a nerve axon in the brain. The bumblebee has 3 types of visual cells: ultraviolet sensitive, blue sensitive and green sensitive. Like many other insects, the bumblebee has what is often called primitive eyes, which are arranged in a triangular pattern on the top part of the head. The primitive eyes or ocelli look like shiny bumps which detect changes in light intensity. Below is a diagram that compares bumblebee vision and human vision. The wavelength is in nanometers. Humans can see wavelengths from around 400 blue to as far as 800 red nanometers, whereas bumblebees can see from as low as 300 ultraviolet, but only up as far as 700 orange nanometers. The 3 basic colors seen by humans are red, green and blue, and by bumblebees they are green, blue and ultraviolet. Bumblebees cannot see red, but they do visit red flowers. This is because, as well as being able to smell the nectar and any other attractive odor that the flower may emit, many flowers, not only those we see as red, have ultraviolet patterns on the petals that are visible to bumblebees and some other insects, but invisible to us.